Hey everyone. So after the popsicle video, I left a lot of you hanging on a lot of questions that I didn't go over, and I'm very sorry. Um, I wasn't expecting that much response, and I'm tickled. Thank you so much. The popsicle, as I called them, sticks that were used in that video were these craft sticks, and I'm sure by this logo they came from Dollar Tree. And they are wider than a normal popsicle stick. In fairness, these are also called craft sticks. I don't know where these came from. I got them at a secondhand shop. It says for $1, but it's purple, so they probably had a 50% off or 80% off. So I either gave 50 cents or 20 cents for them. And this is what I would call an actual popsicle stick. But again, these are called wooden craft sticks. And see the difference in the size. I have used them both. I've also used these kind of sticks, and I think of them like stirrers for coffee and things. These didn't have a label. They came in this huge bag. Seriously, it was at least this big, had thousands in it. Again, got it at the secondhand shop. I like to take these and cut them down to make smaller ones. But those are the 3 sticks that I have, and the 3 different sizes. So I thought while I was getting them out and, better showing what I done, I also have a lot of these kind of things. They're wooden circles and squares, and I got them because I was going to use them as tags, and I have, for Christmas things. And you can see they're probably 1/8 of an inch wide. I don't know if these will work. I have not done these yet. So we're going to try these. I have a couple of those. And here's some circles. But these circles are a little thinner. And they're just a little bit thicker than these popsicle sticks I used. Here's some more circles. And you can get these wooden pieces from anywhere. The secondhand shop, this is how thick these are. Amazon, I got most of these from Temu a long time ago, but I'm sure they still have them. I'm just going to grab a bunch of different sizes. And these look pretty thick, so I'm not sure I'll be able to figure those out. They're not exact. See, they're the same package, but it looks like this one's a lot thicker than that first one. I don't know. Again, I don't know that I can get those through my machine, but we will try. I think that's all that I have. All the different sizes in this basket. So, again, this was what I used in the first tutorial on the popsicle sticks. And there was questions, did you use an embossing machine or embossing powders? It was a machine, and I'm going to show you that. The powders, I have never done a tutorial on the powders because I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I find it hard to give you information when I don't know anything about it. This is the extent of my embossing materials. I don't have the stamp that you're supposed to use to put this on with. I have read or seen a lot of tutorials that you don't need that. You can use regular ink, waters, all kind of paste that they've used, as long as you work quickly. So we're going to try to use a very wet ink today to use some of those powders. And then I have this thing, which is supposed to rub it over the paper, and it eliminates static and moisture. So unwanted specks of powder just blow away easily. We'll try that. I don't think it's going to do a spit's worth of good on this wood, but we'll try it anyway. So again, I've not played with the embossing powders. I've watched a lot of things because I wanted to know how to use them, but I'm not good at it. I can't really tell the difference when I use it, so I just don't use it. But we're going to today. Here is my embossing tool. Mine is a Sizzix. I'm assuming it's a big kick is what it's called, a big kick. So I got this at the secondhand store, and my plates were not in great shape when I got it. My plate is cracked, not from doing what I'm going to show you. It was already cracked. So I'm not real picky with this machine. I try a lot of things in it because, again, I got it at the secondhand shop. It is what it is. It works great, but I'm not, like I say, these things were in rough shape anyway. Matter of fact, I got 4 of them. 2 of them were cut to pieces and very thin. 2 of them were so warped I couldn't even get them through the machine without anything else. So, you know, I, I'm not advising you to do this. I'm just showing you how I done it. I'm going to grab another plate like this because they're a little bit thinner than the Magic Mat, and that's what I used last time. Okay, so I can't find my other plate. I'm just going to have to mess around with trying to get it through. These are the plates that came with it. See how warped they are? I mean, I'm sure someone can tell me how to get it back. And first of all, I don't have an oven, so I can't like lay it in there in low heat and try to warm it back up. But I thought about maybe using my heat tool or something like that to get them back in shape. I don't know. Okay, so my embossing folders. I think I'm going to use this one. It's just a script one. Now, this one is wider than most of my folders. Most of my folders, again, I've either got at secondhand shops or, online, Facebook online, or, things like that. And most of them they didn't, any of them have sleeves. So I don't know who they're from. I will say I did order some from, oh, here, this one does, Print Blocks, Sizzix. This is letters. And some of them I got from Amazon, and they didn't even have, bags. This one it's got numbers. But, like, these are 2 of my favorites, and I think these came from Amazon, and they don't say anything. So, I don't know. So, I'm going to start with the popsicle sticks that I used in the first video. And I don't know if I use this damask or the floral one. Probably use the floral one this time. I don't know why. And I just laid them in here. Just like that. And as you can see, they're too long for this. But that's really okay. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to try to use the same thicknesses because it's only, if I use one that's thicker than the rest, then the others aren't going to get any embossing. So I'm going to use those 2. I'm going to try maybe doing some of these pieces. So I'm going to put a circle and a square in here. Okay, I think that's going to work. So I have one plate and all of the pieces that came with it. This whole big sandwich thing. So now they're embossed. That, if you can see my lighting, they're embossed. The popsicle stick isn't as good as the rest. This one's pretty good. This must have been a little bit thinner. He didn't get a lot of attention. So I'm going to put him back through with maybe this smaller one. It's not putting a lot of pressure on. So there, it's better embossed. All right, so we've embossed those. I'm going to do a couple more here of that I pulled out, the circles and such, with maybe a script. I think those are cute. That will look good. Those turned out neat. There we go. Ooh, like that. I think I'll do one with, I have one that looks like metal or something. And it's a 3D embosser, so I can't imagine that I'm going to be able to use a plate with these. It's really thick. So I'm going to try it without any plate at all. And that worked great. I can see the rivets on this one. This one I must have got just in the, I'm going to put it back through where the rivets are so I can get some of those. I wasn't paying any attention where I put them. So I'm going to lay them where some of the rivets are and run it back through. Ooh, I really like that. That looks so cool. Okay, and now I'm going to put this one maybe through on the numbers. And I have some numbers. So that was the extent of my embossing process. And now I'm going to paint some of these. I didn't really do that in the first part either. I think I'm going to lay down this brown packaging so that, you know, I can get some paint on it too. Those two I'm going to keep aside because I want to do those with some rust colors. And maybe I'll use a couple of these for actual embossing powders. I don't have very pretty embossing powders, so maybe I'll save those two. Okay, so I'm going to paint these first, though, to give them time. They can be drying. Got a little bit of my old favorites out here from Dollar Tree, turquoise and deep brown. And I'm going to grab a piece of packing. Actually, I might just use this little plate here because I can just wipe it off. Okay, so for the painting, I loved the ones that were just white. And let's see, which ones am I going to make white? Make this one. Make these two white. So I might just put the glue down, or the paint down on one of those and mix it around. So I just painted. I didn't use a sponge. I used a normal brush. Don't feel like that makes a bit of difference. And I painted afterwards, after I embossed, because I feel like it would take off some of the paint during the embossing process. And that wood, it just soaks that paint right up. It's kind of like using hand cream on it. It loves it. I like how that looks already. You can see, I'm going to move you down a little bit. You can see that like some of the areas didn't paint. It already looks kind of whitewashed on this one. I'm not sure if you can tell. So I'm going to flip them over and just paint on the backside now. And that was all of my painting. That was the whole process of me painting right there. Wipe my hands off just a bit. Now I wanted to do a couple, maybe with Christmas. So maybe I'll do a couple of the sticks with some red or green. What? Looks like it has black in it. It does have black in it. Look at there. No telling what I did. Kind of cool. Let me get out a brush instead of... Ooh, I love that color. That was a total accident. See, that's what happens when you don't take care of your things. Get colors mixed. I think I'll use a little bit of the green. So now I'm going to do the two that look kind of like metal. And yes, I know that real patina is more green, not turquoise. I didn't know that. I did not know that until a viewer told me, and I thought that was interesting. I did not realize that. I guess I was thinking when I had seen it oxidized like that, I guess in my head that it looked more blue, but it's green, I guess. Kind of a seafoam. Good enough. So we're going to let those dry. I'm going to go rinse out my little sponges. And then we'll come back and play with some embossing powder while those are drying. Okay, so let's set these aside while we work on this embossing business that I just know I'm going to make a mess out of. I want to say again, before I do it, I don't know what I'm doing, okay? So if these don't turn out, which I'm fairly sure they will not, don't worry about telling me how to do it right, because I don't like this stuff anyway. No, I'm just kidding. I will take any of your feedback for sure. I couldn't, I can't tell you how much I seriously love the feedback, because a lot of things I'm like, oh my gosh. And without feedback, I wouldn't know, like, a lot of the tips that I've give to you that people actually liked. Those weren't mine. Those were people telling me, hey, if you do this or whatever. And I love that. So this is what I'm going to do. And it's probably not right. I'm going to try this green. I want some Christmas and maybe some of this speckled egg. Speckled egg and cracked pistachio. And again, these came from somebody that was selling out of their stuff. I had no choice over the colors. It was just kind of like, hey, here's what I got. Does anybody want it? And you know, when it's 50 cents or $1, like, why not? So I have, I don't know, some of this salvaged patina. It looks like speckled egg. So actually, I have some speckled egg. It's probably dry as a bone. I'm gonna see how wet it is. It's not bad, but it's gonna soak right into that wood. So I'm just gonna put it over the top like that. Then I'm gonna take some water, squirt it with a little bit of water, get my glaze ready here. And I'm just gonna dump some of this over it. And I know you're not supposed to do that because now the whole thing's gonna be shiny, but you know, hey, like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. And I did see somebody say that if your tool was heated up, it would work better. Well, obviously mine's not. I'm going to dump this back in the little jar. And dry it. Can you see it? Shiny? Oh my gosh, look at my paper. How cool is that? You know what I think? I think when I've done this before, I didn't dry it long enough, so I gave up on it before it got shiny. I don't know if you can tell it, but it does look neat. No, you can't tell it. I'm sorry, but it is neat. That is something I would probably recommend. That's really cool. Let's do the other side. I'm going to go ahead and put some of this ink on, although I don't think that made any difference, but it gave the underneath a color that's really cool. So I'm going to be more prepared this time. Watch me go. This is cool, guys. Thanks for recommending this. So I'm going to squirt it, pour on my powder. Well, I'm going to say that you all's questions have opened my eyes to something that I'm in love with. I love this paper. I'm going to have to use that for something. But see, it's kind of a shiny look to it. That is cool. Okay, I love that. Y'all, that is way neat. I love that. Wow. Okay. I guess before I just didn't heat it long enough. And honestly, I was getting ready to give up on it this time, and I saw my paper started looking shiny. So I just kept holding it on there, and it did it. Wow, I'm going to do it again on this side. I don't think I had enough the first time. You all have opened my eyes to a whole new world. I'm loving this. I love this. Look at this. Wow, I've had this stuff so long and I didn't even know what it would do. Okay, so that is embossed with powders. That's really cool. Okay, let's try our green one. And I will say, for anybody like me that watches tutorials and they, they say we're going to dry it, and it takes longer for it to dry. And that's why I think it didn't work for me before. It looked a lot faster than it actually is. I probably dried this for, I don't know, 45 seconds, a minute, maybe longer. I again, that's not very long, but my patience and my attention span is so small, and it looked so much faster on, the TV. So anyway, there's that. I think what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to go over it with some red first. This is just this, see, this is Distress Ink Candied Apple. I'm going to do that on both sides. And then I'm going to put some cracked pistachio on there after I spray it with some water. I don't know if you can see it, but it is really cool. And I think what I'm going to do when I edit this tutorial is I'm going to, of course, mute the sound, but I'm going to let you see exactly how long that took, because to me it takes longer than I thought it would. But it is neat. I love it. It takes a lot longer than I thought. So don't give up. Wait for that glossy look, and then it's the good stuff's coming. I just was too impatient is what it was. Okay, so here's the beginning of my drying process, and I was actually going to let it run the whole time I was drying, where you could see actually how long it takes. But it takes over a minute, about a minute and a half, for it to get completely dry and shiny. And that's just too boring to sit here and stare at me holding this little hot heat gun thing. So know that it takes at least that long for it to dry. Don't give up. It will get shiny. Okay, there's our finished piece. It's really, really cool. But this paper's, I'm loving this paper. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it is awesome. Wow, that's so cool. Okay, so, and again, like I said, I think in one piece of it, I'm going to not, speed through it. I'm going to show you how long it takes to do that. For those of you that are like me and thought it was really quick and it didn't work, because wow, that's amazing. That's so cool. I'm going to have to start using this stuff. I thought, why did I even get that? I'm never going to use it. It doesn't work. Wow. So, there's those. That is with embossing powder. And I might add, very cool. So thank you to all the people that asked that question. It was not embossing powder, but this is, and I'm going to say that's really, really neat. Thank you all. So now what I'm going to do on these, and they're dry, these are the ones I painted, is this is where I just inked. And I love this Stays On Timber Brown. Again, I don't get a thing from saying that. I want you to know that's just, I just love it. Even if I did get something, I wouldn't tell you that it was good unless I loved it. And I love this. So I'm just going over the top of where I have embossed with my machine and around the edges. And everywhere else. Wow. I think that looks really, really neat. I'll do the same on this one. This one had the script writing on it. Wow, that's cool. That's neat. And then I had someone ask, well, that's great, but what would you do with these? Now, these I would definitely either glue or hang from my journal, maybe on the cover, punch some holes in. On the sticks, I think that I will more use them as bookmarks. One viewer said, you know, to gift a book and maybe put one of these in there. I think that's an awesome idea. You could just hang them as decoration from a package. You know, some things, and I don't think I have any left. I think I have sold them all, but one thing I did was I did use as a bookmark, and then I, you know, punched the hole, and I would tie a tassel on, so you know they get the fibers and everything that they can use with their journal, plus a bookmark. I think I'm also going to stamp on some of these. Love this so much. Love that grungy. This one I didn't emboss. I think I just... No, I did too emboss it. It just isn't... Oh, well, there it is. Sorry to say I couldn't see it very good, but I just needed to go over it, didn't I? Now I think I'm going to stamp something on this one. This one I'll probably just... I don't know. Sorry to say I thought I would just leave it, but I really like it. I think I would like to put some paint splatter. I think I'm going to do a little bit of that on these too. A little bit of the paint splatter. And I do have stamp blocks, but I don't use them a lot on some of those because the sticky is gone for one thing, and I just haven't taken the time to, you know, put anything on the back to make it better. And because on this wood, it seems like I can get a... push it down better with just my fingers, so... But I'll start using that just to show. I've just done some numbers on that one. I think it looks neat. You could stamp Merry Christmas. I've done that on some. I tell you what I did with these stirrers before. I cut them down. I love that weathered look. I just cut them with scissors. And then I rounded it with sandpaper or a little sanding block. Kind of rounded my corners with my scissors. like that. Then I just took my little sander. Probably should have done that part before I put my paint on. But now that it's done, I can put it back in the ink. And then I've just punched a little hole in it and hung it like as a charm. Maybe I've done some of them with the bottle caps, you know, like the bigger popsicle stick like this. I hung it with I cut it just like I just did this one and hung a little piece of it with the bottle cap. It's just a kind of decoration. I mean, I don't know that it really serves the purpose other than it just gives a new look. I think some of these that I embossed, I'm just going to go over a little bit with the distress ink. Or this isn't distress ink. This is just regular ink. Stays on. Just to make that come out a little bit better. You can still see the shiny. Wow, I really, really like that embossing powder stuff. Okay, so on these, oh, I forgot about this little fella. Okay, now on these, I think I'm just going to take, I don't know what to use. I guess I'll use a little bit of this and see what happens. Ooh, I like that. That's neat. That would look really cool on in a industrial, maybe a steampunkish kind of journal. Those didn't emboss very heavily. Kind of, but not really. On the machine. Probably should took a little sponge and done this rather than running it all over. Well, you get to see all my mess ups too. Then I forgot about this one. I think I'll just ink him. I didn't paint this one. So I've just inked around that. I'm going to get my little sponges here and work on adding some of this. I get out my rusty hinge. So far, I kind of like the one I didn't paint better. It shows up better. The embossing does. I'm sure that using the water, it softened it, and maybe it doesn't show as much. And I've said in all of my deals that I embossed before I paint so that it didn't come off. But I think I'm going to run these two back through the machine and see if I can get a better look on the rivets and stuff. That's a little bit better. Not great. I don't know. There, I can get it to show. Maybe if I go over it a little bit, it'll show up some better. That's one of the 3D envelopes, so it was a little different than my other ones. I think I'm going to go back with some of the patina and see if I can get those rivets to show up a little better. I definitely think it probably looks better in person than it's showing up on camera. A lot of these already have holes in them, but how I punched my holes was just with a crocodile. So I hope that helped, guys. I don't know if you can see all of the things, but I hope that helped as far as embossing and how I did the complete process. I hope you like some of these. Hope this gave you some even more ideas on what to do with wood pieces. I think it's fun. This one turned out really good. This one wasn't painted. It was only distress inked after it had been run through the embossing machine. So, again, I hope you like this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Forgot my popsicle sticks. Bye.